The time is precisely 1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Chandima Virakon. Headlines. Arrangements are being finalized to conduct the Independence Day ceremony on a grand scale according to the health guidelines. An agreement has been reached between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh to enhance cooperation in agriculture, fisheries and naval field. 155,000 health staff are to be vaccinated. 715 COVID cases have been identified this morning. A state-level discussion will be held to bring the drug racketeer Kimbula Ale Guna to the island soon. The US President signs orders on migrant family separations and asylum. Local stories in detail. Additional Secretary to the Home Affairs Ministry, K.P. Dharmatilaka, says that all arrangements are finalized to mark the 73rd Independence Day celebrations tomorrow on a grand scale under the theme of Isirumat Hetak Saubhagyamat Maubimak. The ceremony will be held under the patronage of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at the Independence Square premises under the health guidelines. The invitees for the ceremony have been limited to 1,800. The ceremony includes cultural events and army parades as organized earlier. A floral tribute will also be offered to the statue of Mahamanya D.S. Senanayaka at the Independence Square. The government has also requested to hoist the national flag in state institutions and other institutions as well as homes. Arrangements have been made to conduct Hindu, Islam and Christian religious ceremonies in parallel to the ceremony. The President will address the nation after conducting the 21-gun salute. High Commissioner of Bangladesh, Tariq Ariful Islam, and Deputy Commissioner, Mr. Mohammed Hazrat Ali Khan, met the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at his residence in Vijayarama. The ambassador thanked Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa for the opportunity to meet, and he said he looked forward to working together with the government to enhance bilateral relations between both nations. Congratulating the Prime Minister for the 73rd Independence Day, the ambassador handed over a letter from his Prime Minister conveying her best wishes for the same. The ambassador expressed keen interest in expanding on the existing bilateral relations by enhancing cooperation between both nations in the areas of agriculture, fisheries and maritime connectivity. The ambassador went on to state that Bangladesh is currently the fourth largest producer of freshwater fish and would be happy to share the best practices and know-how with Sri Lanka. Bangladesh is currently assisting Sri Lanka develop high-end rice varieties that are also flood and drought resistant, thereby increasing the production of rice crops. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa expressed his gratitude for the assistance Sri Lanka has received from Bangladesh throughout the years in the education and pharmaceutical sectors. He also invited the ambassador to encourage investors from Bangladesh to invest in the pharmaceutical sector in Sri Lanka. Both the Prime Minister and the ambassador agreed that there was much scope to expand and develop trade relations between both nations. The ambassador extended an invitation to the Prime Minister to visit Bangladesh as they would be celebrating their Golden Jubilee year of independence this year. Secretary to the State Ministry, Specialist Dr. Amal Harsha De Silva, says the vaccination program for health staff is being carried out successfully. More than 130,000 health staff have already been vaccinated. It is expected to provide the vaccine to 155,000 health staff. He told the SABC that it is the hope to complete the vaccination program within the next 2 days. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing with the local stories. The Operational Centre to Prevent the Spread of COVID-19 says that 715 infected persons have been identified this morning. Most cases have reported from Colombo district. Accordingly, 216 cases were reported from the Colombo district and the COVID death toll has increased to 330. Another 7 deaths were reported yesterday. The overall COVID-infected persons reported from the country is at 65,697. The complete recoveries have exceeded 59,000. To end the local news, the headlines again. Arrangements are being finalized to conduct the Independence Day ceremony on a grand scale according to health guidelines. An arrangement has been reached between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh to enhance cooperation in agriculture, fisheries and naval field. 155,000 health staff are to be vaccinated. 715 COVID cases have been identified this morning. A state-level discussion will be held to bring the drug racketeer Kimbula Ale Guna to the island soon. That ends local news.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
On the main news story, Minister of Public Security, Rear Admiral Sarath Veerasekara says state-level discussions will be held to bring the drug racketeers Kimbula Ale Guna and his son, who were taken into custody recently, to the island. He was the leading drug racketeer in the country. He fled to India 15 years ago. That ends the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
Moving on to Watchlight, the students and the parents of Mahakashyapa Primary School in Madhavachya have requested the relevant authorities to renovate the old Guru Nivasaya as a remedy for the teacher shortage. They also pointed out that there are no sufficient infrastructure facilities, including a sanitary network, in this school. More than 100 students are studying in this school, along with 7 teachers. This is for the attention of the relevant authorities. That ends Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Headlines of the world news. The US President signs orders on migrant family separations and asylum. Mass detentions after Putin critic Navalny jailed. Myanmar military leader defends coup. US President Joe Biden has signed 3 executive actions seeking to reunite migrant families split up by a Trump-era policy and ordering a review of his predecessor's wider immigration agenda. In an attempt to deter illegal immigration, President Donald Trump's administration separated undocumented adults from children as they crossed the US-Mexico border. Mr. Biden's orders will set up a task force to try to reunite the estimated 600 to 700 children who are still apart from their families. Nearly 1,400 people were detained in Russia during yesterday's protest in support of jailed opposition leader Alexei Navalny, rights monitors say. In Moscow, riot police were filmed beating demonstrators with batons. Mr. Navalny, 44, was earlier jailed for 3.5 years for violating the conditions of a suspended sentence. He says the case was fabricated. He returned to Russia in January after being treated in Germany for a near-fatal nerve agent attack last August. The chief of Myanmar's military has defended the coup against the government of the country's de facto leader Aung San Suu Kyi, alleging fraud in last year's general election. Senior General Min Aung Hlaing made the comments in a statement broadcast yesterday by state-run television. He claimed the military had to take control because a new government was about to be formed. He said there were irregularities in more than 10 million votes in the fall election, but no investigation was conducted. The country's election commission has rejected allegations of vote fraud. Aung San Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy scored a landslide victory in that vote. To end the world news, the headlines again. The US President signs orders on migrant family separation and asylum. Mass detentions after Putin critic Navalny jailed. Myanmar military leader defends coup. That ends world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Moving on to development news. The Irrigation Ministry has launched a massive program to provide irrigation water in line with the President's Vistas of Prosperity and Splendor national policy statement. Irrigation Minister Chamal Rajapaksa has launched a national program called Irrigation Prosperity for the development of the irrigation sector and the rapid upgrade of rural tanks, anicuts and irrigation canals throughout the country to uplift national food production. That ends development news. We move on to sports news. The Sri Lanka football team is ready for international football matches. Accordingly, Sri Lanka team is scheduled to participate for several matches to qualify for the World Championship football tournament. The first match will be held on the 25th of next month with the North Korean team in North Korea. Sri Lankan team will compete the South Koreans on the 30th of next month. The event will be held at the Sukatadasa Stadium in Colombo. The training session is being conducted at the Badagana Football Training Centre. 22 players are included in the National Football Reserve. The training sessions will be conducted under the coach Amir Alajic. That ends sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
On business news, a remarkable growth has been shown in the fields of telecommunication and information technology during the first quarter of last year, according to the National Accounts Estimate issued by the Department of Census and Statistics. The growth rate is at 2.1%. The overall income is 48 billion rupees. The reason for this increase is attributed of the school children engaged in online education due to COVID pandemic. That ends business news.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic News. Courtesy of...
Congratulations on your promotion. It will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
On economic news, in line with the government development drive, People's Bank introduced the Vanitha Savia loan scheme in 2020 to empower Sri Lanka's women entrepreneurs. This loan was designed for women who are engaged in micro or small-scale businesses or for those who start a business. Another main objective of this loan scheme is to lessen the financial burden of the women who were engaged in businesses during COVID-19 pandemic period. That ends economic news.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
No, Amma. We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
Oh, really? How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy. She might be feeling very uncomfortable. The airport must be heavily crowded because it's a season.
Amma, calm down. Everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge. There's nothing to worry.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And finally, on the weather report, The Met Department says few showers will occur in eastern, north central and Uva provinces and in Matale and Nuwara Eliya districts. Fairly strong gusty winds up to 50 km per hour can be expected in northern, north central and eastern provinces and in the eastern slopes of the central hills. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in Sabaragamuwa province and in Kalutara, Gaul and Matara districts after 1 p.m. Fairly heavy falls above 50 mm can be expected at some places. Misty conditions can be expected in western, central, Sabaragamuwa and southern provinces during the morning. To end this bulletin of news, the headlines again. Arrangements are being finalized to conduct the Independence Day ceremony on a grand scale according to the health guidelines. An agreement has been reached between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh to enhance cooperation in agriculture, fisheries and naval field. 155,000 health staff are to be vaccinated. 715 COVID cases have been identified this morning. A state-level discussion will be held to bring the drug racketeer Kimbula Aleguna to the island soon. The US President signs orders on migrant family separation and asylum. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.